Three, two,
War
one.
cabinets. So, that's effective immediately, and this cocksucker is now effectively
in the
charge
100% control.
of the military.
Yeah.
Because he fired everyone. I didn't realize. Well, I mean, I guess you can do whatever you want. I don't know how their government is set up, but he effectively made himself the end-all, be-all of military decisions.
Yeah. So he's effectively running the government and the military on his own. I mean, in the most simplistic version.
Yeah. That's what I meant. I don't see how this. Look, they already gave a run back. I don't see how this ends well at all in any situation.
Yeah, it's right. It kind of fits with how this has been going. Like every time he's been challenged, he doubles down.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. So what's the end game here? Like, is someone going to have to come in and physically stop him? And then, if so, who?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm furiously typing on my phone.
And then who's backing him in this?
I don't.
Go ahead. You know the elephant in the room. I'm about to ask.
Well, no. So we kind of talked about it last week, which was
that was before he effectively took over every aspect of the country.
Right, which is that he can call for an election between now and I think it's like 2 years from now.
Right. And he's also stepping aside when the war is over.
Right. So as long as he doesn't have to call new elections, he can theoretically see this out. And then now that he's 100% in charge of military decisions.
Everything.
You're going,
right.
Yeah. So I don't see him calling for any new elections until they're absolutely mandated. And
what about the ceasefires and the peace talks? I use that term loosely.
So that's the other thing to take into account
who's doing all that.
Did he disband his war cabinet because the war cabinet was on the side of a ceasefire?
It's like, look, this is probably the best thing optics-wise. We should probably consider this.
Or
and then him going, fuck all of you?
Or was it the other way? In that he's put so many hardline Zionists in the war cabinet that he was like, oh God, your solution to this is everything's destroyed.
I'm going to go with the former because all signs point to that.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. But another one of the, and I'm going to go back to it, that Washington Week report.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about. I love it.
Yeah, and the Atlantic reporter pointed out is that he's surrounded himself by these hardline Zionists, and so
as his that
is a possibility
of his choosing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
All right.
That's what this is for.
Okay, let's say that that's the case. He surrounded himself with all these hardcore Zionists, right? And he decides...
A la George W. Bush.
And he decides...
This has all happened before. It will happen again.
But he will... Well, and what if he decides to change his mind? I find it hard to believe that all those hardcore people around him would not push back.
Yeah. Well, and
especially at this time, like if he's like, you're all fired, and they all went, you know what? There's 12 of us and one of you.
Well, again, this happened today, and this. When did I turn on the news? Before the.
Put it this way.
Before the second Euro match. So this would have been
between the hours of 9 and 4.
Well, I think he did it like at the end of the day.
So like 4 o'clock our time.
Yeah. Well, no. This was like 11 o'clock our time. So I think they're like 9-10 hours ahead of us.
Oh, so he did it the business day.
Right. Yeah. Of close the business. Oh yeah. By the way, you're done.
And he did it. At least he did it on a Monday and not a Friday.
Right.
I'd have been salty if he made me work all week.
Interesting thing is going to be is if any of those cabinet members decide to speak out
or end up dead,
which would be like now, like that they would be doing interviews.
They're working their sources because again, at this rate, I wouldn't put it past him if 70% of those people end up dead or
Could be.
somewhere. I hope I'm wrong.
If they were
guy.
hardliners, he should have sent them to the front line
and been like,
to fight the war.
Go do your thing.
But and like that's going to be the telling. But I'm just saying is that if he's looking at there's a movement in Israel for a call for new elections. The United States finally backs a UN resolution for a ceasefire. He might be feeling like he's getting cornered.
And if I get rid of everybody else, it'll be easier for me to relent.
Yeah, or that I can. Yeah, it's like then it's on me whether to do the ceasefire or not, right? And that. Again, whereas if he said and
all prior evidence points to the opposite.
I know, I understand that, but I'm just
I love it.
Well, it's just we're just role playing this, right?
We are
so
corporate role playing.
Say for instance, though, it's that his military cabinet is like the hardline Zionists.
But I guess we still don't know what he fires war cabinet. Does that mean he nuked and just got rid of everyone?
He very well could be moving. Like tomorrow, he might appoint new people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it's a
exactly
still, but
everything now is completely straight out of our ass, right? So
I love it.
But
I am playing Risk right now with lives of people over there.
Exactly. So you're taking the hardliner point. I'm taking the optimistic point, which is So in this case would be. So say for instance, where is that if he decides to sign off on the ceasefire, but he's got these crazy ass people who run the military, his defense department, what would stop them from going? You've completely lost your mind. We have to take over the government. So if he gets them out, like you said, and either appoints new people or says, "Look, I'm taking it all myself," and signs off on the ceasefire agreement, and then starts moving into that road of we don't need to have an all-out war, we need to have more of a clandestine war to figure out Hamas and all that.
Okay, that's great, Mother Teresa. That is fucking wonderful. Yeah. It really is. That is a shine that motherfucker up. No,
it's still a turd, right?
It is, and I think the opposite. Although I would love to be proven wrong, I really would.
Sure, yeah.
The timing of this is a little weird.
A week after the ceasefire agreement.
Right, and then we just had G7, and they met in Italy and stuff. It just.
And they said that they're
we collectively
don't like this. Yeah.
So that's another thing that could lead to the guys. Now we've got the fucking. They are saying we better do something here, and if we continue on this path, it's going to get ugly. Whose side was that? You know what? Maybe it was an amicable divorce.
Could be.
They split assets. Who gets to keep the dog? Who doesn't? Who gets to murder some more people?
Yeah. And again, I actually I do see your point in that if you're talking about a group of people, a collective, that all of a sudden get kicked out. They're especially the ones going. This again, or if we put it in the context of George W. Bush, if all of a sudden one day Dick Cheney, Paul Wolfowitz, Rumsfeld tell hey,
they do the CM Punk me.
We got to get out of Afghanistan and Iraq. This is meaningless. It's going to be terrible for us. Yeah, and then he's trying to say, or he's going for imagine this is happening during the re-election, and then you go, man. He's going to go, he's going to pull Donald Trump, y'all get the fuck out. I'm going to put people in that are going to tell me I'm right.
Right.
So, I get that. And that's, human beings being the unsnowflakes that they are. Meaning not unique and individualized and almost computer programmable.
It almost...
If AI has taught us anything.
Almost leads credence to the whole we are in a simulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us are programmed up there and down here, but we're all in a fucking simulation.
But I see that point. Again, I hope not because...
Well...
then because I mean there's so many things that, and again we would need much longer than one episode, but the idea of if Israel or let me put it better, the leader of Israel decides that
because it's clearly been stated that
the people, the majority of the people are not.
Yeah.
They get it.
And apparently his war cabinet do too. Well,
we'll see.
Right.
But like the destabilizing nature of that is that if, for example, Iran understands that Israel is no longer backed by the United States, that I'm not even. It's in Jordan and you know, most of those rich oil-rich countries. It's in their nature, or it's in their best interest, not their nature, in their best interest to protect Israel because Israel has nuclear warheads. It's in Egypt's interest, but of the
trust me, we do not want those two countries
of
getting
the
in a
off.
pissing contest.
I don't want to say off the, or I would say like, you know, of the countries, Iran. I would even throw Pakistan into there if they know that Israel is no longer backed by the G7 in the United States. Then
that is some easy pickings.
Yeah.
They like to call that shooting fish in a barrel. Or
what you have is, effectively at this point, a rogue nation setting off a nuclear conflict. Which, if Israel is pinned against the wall, and Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt are kind of like, you know, hands are tied.
Our hands are tied at this point.
And what else is their option? Well, we got to launch, and then all of a sudden,
wipe them out.
And then we're at that point, whether we like it or not, or whether it's written down on paper anymore or not, then it's a fucking World War I thing. Like Iran launches, we have to do a retaliatory, or somebody, one of the Western nations has to do
somebody has to retaliate.
Then Russia does a retaliatory strike, and then there we are. Oppenheimer's greatest fear is realized.
We went to the World War II Museum this weekend, and
it's there for a reason.
The daughter said, well, because, again, super heavy for a 10-year-old. Super heavy for me.
Oh, yeah.
How did it end? And I said, we pushed a button to say, everybody, this is what's up. And then everybody went, I think we're good. And then we did it again, and everybody went, we're definitely good.
Yeah.
Like, there it is.
Yeah, that's
which is basic.
That's the good textbook definition of it. Yep. Yeah.
Because, you know, again, I have multiple questions about that whole fucking...
Oh, yeah. Most people do, yeah. Hopefully most people do.
Here's the timeline. I read the timeline. And
we only have 45 seconds.
I'm going to spend 40 seconds on this. So the timeline starts with blah, 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 Mussolini. Please tell me why the Italians were the ones who started the fascism, which ultimately led to the forming of the... Never mind. Again.
Well, I mean, who better to reinstitute the Roman Empire than Romans?
Fucking fascinating.
No, I mean, it was...
I fucking love... And the only reason I bring this up is because you can legit see the parallels to what is happening everywhere now.
Yeah.
Because it's not just rednecks in rural West Virginia that are screaming Nazi.